kilometers, 2.7 miles, and a short shoot of a run down to the first corner. Can the Mercedes stay ahead? There are no mandatory pit stops. It's about half an hour of lights to flag action with 8 points available for the winner. Hello everyone, we are sprinting in Montreal for the first time. We're about to race this format in Canada, and it is a brilliant racetrack to attack for the field. The ever-depleted field. Let's run through you all from the back to the front. There's 5 cars in the pit lane now. It's Alex Albon and Valtteri Bottas. We knew about these two. They will be starting from the pit lane. Then it's Pierre Gasly and Oliver Behrman. But between the time that the pre-show ended and this broadcast, Lance Stroll has been pushed off the grid. So it's Liam Lawson who will not have the Aston Martin to the left-hand side of him. 17 on the grid, 5 in the pit lane as it stands. Next up, Sergio Perez in 16th, next to Fernando Alonso in P15. He found the barriers yesterday, as did Esteban Ocon in practice. He's P14. Franco Colapinto, 13th position for the Alpine driver. Then it is Gabriel Bortoleto next to teammate Nico Hulkenberg, missed out on SQ3 by half a tenth. Carlos Sainz made it. Great little battle that he won between 4 drivers. Arvid Lindblad's been fast since the first green light at the end of the pit lane this weekend. And then it's 2x2. Hadjar next to teammate Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc behind 7-time Grand Prix winner around here, Lewis Hamilton. The theme continues on the second row. And the McLarens get past the Mercedes ahead. It's Oscar Piastri 4th, and then Lando Norris in 3rd. And our top 2 in the World Championship, reversed in order. Kimi Antonelli in 2nd, George Russell in 1st place. 3 qualifying sessions in a row, 2 Grand Prix qualifying sessions, and 1 sprint. He has taken 1st place by the end of the session. There was intensive work going on the grid, Stroll's car. They've not been able to fix it in time. They've pushed him to the pit lane. Jolyon Palmer, we have 17 on the grid, 4 contenders for the win out front, and now 5 cars in the pit lane.
I love this shot. The calm before the storm as the tyre blankets come off for our front 2 rows. The Mercedes have been sitting ducks for those behind. It's been the Ferraris and it's been the McLarens so far. Every single time they've lost the lead at the start of the race. It's a short run.
मेरा कैमरा चालू है मम्मी.
Curve through it as well. So Russell will curve to the right, where Antonelli will momentarily have the inside before you get to the first braking zone on the left. And the McLaren drivers further back will be hoping Mercedes woes continue. But word from the team at the front, starts have been better yesterday in practice.
So they are happier with what they've seen. As we move on to the formation lap, the grandstand's full. There is a spy of a few of the cars in the pit lane. They do get the option of a formation lap. The race will begin when the green light illuminates at the end, and all cars have gone past. That looked like a slow getaway for Arvid Lindblad. Having a great weekend so far, trying to score his 2nd ever point-scoring result in Formula 1. He needs to improve 1 place to do that today.
And Racing Bulls have gone for a hard tyre to try and do that. So most of the field are on the mediums. That seemed to be the obvious way to go, balancing grip and the durability of a tyre over 23 laps. Racing Bulls have gone for the hard for Lindblad. Now that worked really well for Liam Lawson in China. He managed to come through for some points in the sprint, hoping that the mediums will grain a little bit. It's an okay air temperature out there. It feels warm enough, 20 degrees, and it's going to be all about firing up the front tyres particularly. You can see the dust as well for Russell, who's, I'll tell you what, he's the only one out there, isn't he? No, here come the rest of the field. Big gap that Russell's got as the field spreads on this formation lap.
Let's get an update on the condition of Lance Stroll's sprint race with Alex Brundle.
Yeah, hello gentlemen. I'm just literally watching Stroll's work going on now. There is no tyre on the right front of that car yet. Looks like they're working on the attachment of the front suspension to the front wheel hub. Stroll is in the car with tyre heaters on it, but they're running swiftly out of time to get that car out, and they still look like they're working on the mechanicals rather than fitment of the wheels on the front of the Aston.
Difficult moment for the home favourite. This is the first of 2 races. This is the half-an-hour format, no mandatory pit stops, lights to flag action. And then the main event, the Grand Prix tomorrow. 23 laps for us ahead. Here is George Russell, who has backed off considerably to allow the rest of the field to catch him. The top 8 in this race.
Let's go, guys.
On the medium tyre. Lindblad on the hard. Sainz, Hulkenberg, Bortoleto, Colapinto behind him, also on the medium. You've got to go down to Perez, who is running the very grippy soft tyre. That's not going to last very long, but why not? It's going to get you a great launch off the line. Why not try something around a circuit that has seen it all in its time on the Formula One calendar?
Max Verstappen going through his burnouts, getting those rear tyre temperatures fired up so he can have an aggressive start and try and bring himself into the mix. Another man that's not had great getaways often this year, but seemed to be a little bit better off in Miami. And you can see the way he's positioned to the inside there of Lewis Hamilton. And the way that the road curves into that first corner, as you get the hit of power from the electric motor, you can have a little bit of steering angle on. It's going to be even harder to get these things off the line.
Look at that steering angle for George Russell, who had planned that. Look at the telltale rubber marks from the formation lap. Russell ahead. He has the form in Montreal, but 2026 has been superb for Kimi Antonelli. Green flag at the back. We will look to the lights after the short pause built into the regulations this year. When they go out, we'll be sprinting in Montreal. The first ever sprint race in Canada is underway. Good launch off the line for George Russell, but Kimi Antonelli will be under pressure. The Mercedes hold position. They have managed to get off the line and hold their 1-2. Crucial improvements for them. What's the boot off the line for Lewis Hamilton? Can he gain a place? The answer is yes. He goes past Oscar Piastri. He's the big winner on the opening lap so far. Mercedes 1-2. Russell, Antonelli, Norris, and now Hamilton P4.
Couple of weeks off for Mercedes, and they finally learn how to get off the line then. Those good starts from practice come to fruition at the start of this race, and they hold position. Antonelli was deep into the first corner as well, making sure that Lando Norris couldn't do anything about him, and indeed he couldn't.
Let's go. Good start for everyone. Good start.
Third place, up into fourth for Lewis Hamilton, and he has been a man on a mission so far this weekend. Let's see if now he can get his head down and chase Norris.
So Lewis Hamilton has ditched the simulator. He's running on instinct, and his instinct around here is superlative. 7 times a Grand Prix winner. Kimi Antonelli putting the charge on at the moment. There's a late breaking move for Esteban Ocon to the inside of Sergio Perez.
Yeah, watch Antonelli, because he was close at the hairpin. You've got all sorts of deployment going down to the final chicane. Has Russell got more in store? Yes, he has at the moment. But again, Antonelli's got pace on the great attack on the way into that final chicane. He showed it yesterday in qualifying. Oh, I don't know if he was so quick coming out that time, though. Really hustling away.
Overtake mode is now enabled. You get more power. You get more deployment if you are within 1 second. There are 3 straight zone modes around this racetrack. There's a move in the background. Let's go back to the opening lap of the sprint race. Go on board with Nico Hülkenberg, who was in 11th. He's now in 15th. This looks to be the reason why.
Yeah, brave man trying to hang it around the outside at turn 8. All arms and elbows as he rejoins from the grass. But you're never going to make that stick. He lost a further place there, or even a few more. I think Ocon, Perez and Alonso all gobbled him up on the way down towards turn 10. Dirty on the circuit, though. Even around the racing line, you can see Russell flicking up a little bit of dust. And Antonelli stays in his wheel tracks. Here we go onto the brakes for the hairpin, turn 10. You have to get a good exit here. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. Longest straight, best overtaking opportunity coming up next.
Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Pinto getting to the inside of Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg having to take to the grass. And
The Mercedes are lying. Already a 2.6 seconds lead. Damn, dude.
For 8th position.
Damn.
Wilson is the driver that we're highlighting on the left-hand side of your screen. Full frame, we're looking at the big hitters who started 2 by 2. It was Lewis Hamilton who was able to make the improvement. He is desperate to get through into the top 3. Stroll has been noted for a start procedure infringement. A late push to the pit lane for the Canadian home favourite after problems with the front suspension assembly.
Pressure being applied here by the championship leader. How much can Russell absorb? Half a second away. It's such an easy circuit to make a mistake on.
Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's see.
You can lock the front, you can lock the rear. Antonelli just slightly wide of the apex there with a bit of understeer. Again, he carries such speed on the way into these corners and then hopes he can get the rotation and come through them. And at the moment, it is meaning that he can keep the pressure applied. He's a little bit late on the turn in there for turn 8 as well. Russell escaping by a 10th in each of those corners. A little bit of hover off the throttle to harvest some energy into the hairpin before we hug the apex, straighten off the exit and jump on the gas for our best chance. Straight mode activated, but it looks like again he's going to be too far back.
George Russell in more than a battle for sprint race victory this weekend, trying to change the narrative. It has been 3 Grand Prix victories in a row for Kimi Antonelli, the first driver in the history of the championship to win his first 3 Grand Prix back to back to back, and that's what he's managed to do. China and then Japan, most recently in Miami. There's a move for Hulkenberg. He's gone past the Aston Martin of Alonso.
Well, Antonelli's not afraid to just sit in the wheel tracks of Russell here and apply the pressure. So replay at the start. Russell, you got it right, so angled across to make sure he cut Antonelli off. Kimi didn't get such a good getaway, but it's dirty on the outside of the grid there. So considering that, he did well. There's the speed he carried in to make sure no one could attack him into turn 1. Missed the apex slightly, but there was no attack from further back because the Mercedes got great launches. Hamilton round the outside, hanging it around the outside of Oscar Piastri, and we can get a better view of that on board.
Lewis Hamilton is going to go for a slightly wider line through turn 2. Starting off with turn number 1. Now watch where he positions the car.
Yeah, experience showing here. Thinks about Norris, but you're never going to make that one stick. Just try and straighten off that exit, get the power down, and it was job done. Just using that outside line, releasing the brakes and carrying the speed.
Alex Albon started this race in the pit lane. Top 2 are very close together, and that was easy on the brakes. Past Bottas. Let's go
हेड जर्ने क्या किया
to the top 2 then.
हेड जर्ने क्या किया
Third sprint of the year. Russell once again under big pressure.
हेड जर्ने हक दिया
Our 19-year-old championship leader.
Yeah, I tell you, George is sweating right now. This is not a race under control for him. You wonder sometimes if he's managing tyres and the whatnot, but I don't think so. Having to just check the mirror all the way down to that final braking zone, waft towards the middle of the road, and wow, you could tell the way he was jumping on the throttle on the exit as well. Wasn't sure if he was a little bit deep in towards turn 7. All of these braking zones are an opportunity to make a mistake for the race leader. It's an opportunity to pressure the mistake for the driver behind. And Antonelli's closing.
Hadjar lost it.
This is the closest he's been.
Problem for Isaac Hadjar. The 2x2 formation of the big teams has fallen away.
Engine problem.
Okay, we're investigating.
Wide moment for Russell. The crowd rise because we're about to see the 2 teammates do battle. Wide in the turn 10 hairpin. Russell now checking the mirror, having to go defensive. Antonelli has been on a charge for 3 rounds in a row, and they're side by side for the first time as contenders for the title.
Dude, the fight.
Antonelli, he brushed the grass, he got away with it. Going to go fighting again towards 1.
Antonelli's fire.
Between the 2 of them. Antonelli outside line. Contact off the road. That is so close. Russell stays cool and has the lead, but they're finally brawling at the
Bro!
It'll continue again. Antonelli across the grass. Russell saw him coming, and Russell right up against the wall, exited turn 4.
Bro!
Break away, but he can't. Antonelli's still there. He's got a little bit more energy to use from his battery, sitting within a second. This is the most ambitious move, I think, for a race lead in Montreal. From this far back, round the outside, I mean, he sort of gets there at the apex.
Wide! And again, Antonelli tries the lunge. He rejoins. Extraordinary lap between the 2 Mercedes, and it costs Antonelli second place. Through goes Lando Norris. Will it be late on the brakes for Antonelli? No!
That was very naughty.
What does confidence of a 19-year-old look like in Formula 1? He was prepared to go all in against Russell, and it's cost him points.
Well, how has Antonelli got to the point where he's lunged with a lock brake at that corner? You should never be close enough there. So something's gone on. I can't believe. Has he tried to just do a sneaky one with some boost mode and energy from the battery? I don't know. Norris is loving this, up into second place. Watching brief early on from Lando. Mercedes getting ready. Surely that's in case there's a flat spot that they can't get over with Antonelli's car. Unbelievable confidence, unbelievable fighting, but how did they get into that position?
Replay दिखाओ क्या हो रहा है?
The Mercedes scrap. Remember what we heard, the team instruction yesterday. You can go racing, but you cannot touch. There was definitely a touch at the apex of turn number 2, and we'll get a replay of what happened into 8.
So let's just keep it cool.
No chance of that anymore. We've seen our rivals for the title side by side. What is it about Montreal? The McLarens collided in 2011. The McLarens collided last year. And now the 2 teammates, the top 2 in the World Championship.
Come on, Kimi, let's go. We still have time to go. Let's go. Let's go, Kimi, let's go.
And they nearly took each other out twice.
Yeah, so Antonelli's grievance is the turn 1, turn 2 moment, rather than the way he went grass tracking next time around.
Let's just get this back under control, Kimmy. Focus on Norris. Focus
Yeah,
on
I
the
don't
driving.
care. You put me out.
Yes! झगड़ा हो जाए मार दो मारो दोनों को
Colapinto's got past Sainz up to 9th place. He's having a very strong
मारो
day, making position
let's go
in the field. Last point is currently occupied by Lindblad. Verstappen is adrift of Charles Leclerc, then it is Oscar Piastri, Lewis Hamilton, and then you get to Kimi Antonelli. What an extraordinary lap that was between the two contenders. It was a prevailing
Kimi, let's go fighting, my boy. Let's go.
That was like the last lap of a Grand Prix.
Kimi, concentrate on the driving, please, and not on the radio morning.
Oh, come on, Toto. That's not cool, Toto.
We don't think there was anything in it. Play on. Antonelli's so frustrated. These are title rivals. We've finally seen a flashpoint between them, and what a flashpoint we have in a sprint race. Russell's not away with this yet either. Norris was probably giving his tyres an easier time early on and could stay within a second, and he is doing that. Antonelli, you think he must have really worked those tyres, and there's the big moment that Kimi's not happy about. He was a long way around the outside. It was ambitious as anything.
Russell recovering the energy. The lockup was almost inevitable for Antonelli. He had to go for it, bounced over the grass and lost second position, having momentarily been in the lead.
I think the problem was he touched the grass as he was hitting the brakes as well, so it was a similar thing as Hajar retires. Similar thing that I mentioned as they were going wheel to wheel into the final chicane, where Antonelli brushed the grass and got away with it. He did the same there, and I think he had space to not be on the grass, and by then he was carrying so much speed. When you miss the first bit of deceleration, you're going to be flying through. Should we buckle up again? Here comes Norris.
Norris, the only driver this year to beat Mercedes in a race. That was at the previous sprint race in Miami. He's trying to go back-to-back here, and he's got the opportunity. He is within 1 second of George Russell. That gives him the overtake mode. That gives him more power. That gives him better recharge, and it gives him a chance to score 8 points once again. Russell's energy recovery into turn 8, giving the opportunity to Antonelli. Antonelli off through the grass, and it's not even across there at all. He's bumping up and down through the grass, and he rejoined. Norris took the place.
Hamilton is right with Antonelli. Here we go for third place.
Is it about to get worse for Kimi Antonelli, who had the confidence to send it around the outside? He was not happy with the teammates' defensive move that he got, and they were starting side by side. Antonelli had the form. Hamilton has had so much confidence behind the wheel. He is loving this racetrack this weekend, and he will be prepared to send one.
Well, how much pain did Antonelli give his tyres? Possibly the floor as well, with all that bumping over the grass. Sensitive aero parts underneath still, and looks like he hasn't managed to find that second win to get back towards the top two at the moment.
Why
So,
this?
Norris the man
I mean,
to pressurise
fuck,
the race
dude.
leader. Russell still
That was
in
intense.
this. Hamilton brushing the grass next to the
Hello.
top 7. I love this circuit. Pushing this
Shivam.
hard early on.
हाँ भाई बोलो भाई.
Well,
Green sir लोगे?
This is action.
हाँ
It
बिल्कुल
certainly
भाई.
is. The track temperature is down compared to yesterday. It's 32 degrees
दिख रहा है?
today. The air temperature is at 20
हाँ
degrees.
हाँ आया रुक जा
And it
दिखता हूँ.
has been dusty. First ever
दिख रहा है.
May visit to this circuit as Isaac Hadjar, they've found a repair, and that's just effectively a practice session for him now. They've sent him out to get data. Lindblad on for the point on that durable hard tyre as well. So a good weekend could be a second point scoring finish in Formula One. The 18-year-old British rookie driver who currently occupies his position. And Jolyon Palmer's taking a step back in the commentary box because Hamilton's using all of the racetrack and a bit more.
I've been doing that all weekend, watching Lewis through the final chicane. He's happy and hungry once again here. And that is that's maybe a little bit more than some laps through the final chicane.
Bro, this is
Having to throw
intense.
the car
Fuck.
around on a circuit that he loves, and
Ah.
again, picking up a bit of dirty air, trying to bounce your way through some curves.
Norris is keeping on the tail.
The contact of the rear tires
हाँ भाई.
perfectly in tune with the asphalt.
घर पे हो
Find
भाई.
some traction, find some grip. And
खाना नहीं अभी
I
तक नहीं
find
हुआ.
it's a great
10-15 तक
fight for
होगा.
McLaren as well, that Norris, having just sat back, watched the Mercedes
नहीं नहीं
fight,
खा
is now
अभी
able to
खाऊंगा.
stay
खा
with
10-15
George
तक खा के
Russell
आता.
and be the man to pick up any pieces should
हाँ.
George be the leader to
हाँ,
make a
हाँ.
mistake. He made a mistake the first time, didn't he? At
ठीक
the
है, ठीक
hairpin. That's what
चलेगा.
opened himself up for it.
ठीक है ठीक है ठीक
Okay,
है.
Alex
चलो.
Brundle, what a race so far.
Incredible race so far, guys. I think what we're seeing at the front here is this is such an energy-starved circuit that overtake mode is extremely strong. As soon as drivers are getting in within 1 second of the driver ahead, we saw it between Antonelli and Russell. We're now seeing it between Norris and Russell.
Chalo, let's go.
Giving them the opportunity to attack, particularly in this final sector of the lap.
Such a power-dependent part of the racetrack, making that run out of the hairpin at turn 10. Then you've got the final chicane. Here is Lando Norris within 0.4 of a second of the race lead. George Russell using a lot of the racetrack at the moment, under pressure. One thing to go wheel to wheel with your teammate, but that's the sort of thing that you do as long as you can claim the win. Would be unhappy faces down at Mercedes if Russell is unable to hang on to this one.
Well, he was lights to flag last year in a somewhat different race. I mean, the pressure that George has come under in 12 laps and counting so far is something else. Norris closing and closing, using a little bit more energy to shut that gap in towards turn 8. You've got another run now up towards turn 10. This is the closest that Lando's been. He has that little bit more available, as Alex was talking about, with overtake mode. He's getting closer to the apex. He'll square off the corner, and this is going to be a potential opportunity here for Norris.
Chalo, all three of them are very close now.
With his own teammate 1 year ago in the Grand Prix, is chasing victory in the sprint. Russell felt the need to check the mirror there. They come to the end of the straight zone. They come to the chicane, and it's still Russell out front. He is having to really work for those 8 points now. Russell is ahead of Norris by 0.3 of a second.
He's having to harvest a lot more in some of the sensitive areas of the circuit. In theory, you shouldn't be able to overtake it towards turn 8, but it didn't deter Antonelli from having a go, as George was desperate to scrabble some energy back so that he could defend on the long straight. No DRS this year. It's all about energy management, and it's what Norris right now has a little bit more of, as Antonelli closes back in as well, and might even be able to help George out front if he could start fighting with Lando Norris in second place.
George Russell, who made his debut in Australia in 2019. Kimi Antonelli in just his second season of Formula One. And the top three in this sprint race separated by 1.5 seconds.
चल भाई लाडले
Norris, who
crazy कर दो भाई.
to this hairpin. That's what set up the contact with Piastri 1 year ago. Charles Leclerc quite close to the back of Oscar Piastri, but it's Mercedes power that you need down this back straight, and that we've seen so far. It's Russell, then Norris, then Antonelli, then Hamilton. Last year's Grand Prix winner, George Russell, is the driver he is using more of the racetrack. He is having really push in a way that perhaps he would not want to in a sprint race, but he needs this win. That's what he's looking for. He won the sprint in China.
चलो Antonelli भाई crazy कर दो कुछ.
The McLaren looks a little bit like it did in Miami. It's got great front end.
मेरे को ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है रसेल और नॉरिस की फाइट में किमी निकाल देगा.
भाई किमी तो चुदा है भाई रसल के वजह से. किमी सेकंड में था, रसल ने उसको पुश कर दिया ऑफ ट्रैक. एक पोजीशन लूज किया उसने. ऑफ ट्रैक नहीं पुश किया, किमी ओवरटेक करना है, इसने मूव किया.
Such a critical corner, turn 8. So easy to lock up and miss that first apex, and then you're going grass tracking all on your own.
Ooh.
Norris close. You mentioned before, this is the opportunity that he's taken over many a year.
Norris और Kimi बहुत close.
Charles Leclerc is the driver that you're on board with on the left-hand side of your picture. You're looking at the top three. Going through the last of the straight zones on this racetrack.
बहुत
pressure from two drivers in the race. First of all, his teammate Kimi Antonelli. If you're just joining us, it's now Lando Norris who's trying to go back-to-back with sprint race victories. George Russell, so many people stating this weekend as a must-win for him. It is early in the championship. This is only round 5. Long way to go. Our season concludes in December in Abu Dhabi, but Russell has for the first time got that gap up to 1 second. Antonelli now putting the pressure on Lando Norris.
Yeah, it looked like Norris was on a massive harvest there as well, down towards the first corners. That's why Antonelli suddenly closed in.
Albon को क्या हो गया?
As he did.
Albon ने पिट क्यों किया?
Half a second in the final sector. Has Lando been holding it back to now try and close in once again to chase the race leader? Is this the sign that Mercedes are just starting to settle down now? Antonelli closing.
Left-hand side of your picture, if you're wondering what's going on, that was Hülkenberg over the road in the Audi, and Gasly closing in as a result. You cannot leave the track and gain a notable advantage without race control getting grumpy. Alex Albon's into the pits. So he's trying something different. This is, for those at that end, this has turned into a test session, a practice session for them with no chance of getting through to the top eight.
होता है ना 80 किलोमीटर ही होता है 80 या 60 हर पिट लेन में हमेशा ही लिमिट रहता है वो नहीं 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 वो लगता है अपने को तेज है बट वो अंडर लिमिट ही रहता है उनके पास बटन होता है पिट लिमिटर का
To the back of another Ferrari with the time ticking away. It is lap 16 of 23. You can see the McLaren squirming all over the road.
कुछ करो किमी भैया.
He will hope he's way past the Ferrari late on for the second race in a row. This is the third sprint of the season. And we had Lando Norris winning last time out in Miami. We had George Russell winning in China. Pierre Gasly left-hand side of your picture. He's managed to clear Hulkenberg. And Gasly making progress. They changed a lot. They broke the curfew. You're allowed to do that 4 times in a season. Alpine making major setup changes. More out of hope than expectation for this race, but
यार किमी भैया कुछ हो नहीं पा रहा यार तुमसे यार.
One of the very best qualifiers in the field was in trouble.
भाई मैक्स और मैक्स के बाद का जो गैप देखना भाई 11 सेकंड है कुछ भी.
4 rounds of the World Championship so far this year.
There is a car to deal with for the race leaders here. Alex Albon, there he goes. So that's not what Russell needs.
Ocon के बाद है 11.9 का.
7 clean laps to knock off.
Stroll के बाद 14.5
Albon will just jump out of the way nice and easy, but you don't often get that in a sprint.
It's his best mate in the paddock, so if he doesn't, I know they're both Formula 1 drivers, but if he doesn't, there'll be words afterwards.
There will be hell to pay for Alex Albon. Russell needs this. He needs to just
चलो भाई बुस्सी भर दो. Let's go.
Once again, they're both closing in on the Williams.
Yellow flag out on track. Momentarily, someone over a corner. And it is George Russell ahead of Lando Norris, then Kimi Antonelli in third. Antonelli closed in on Norris in the last couple of laps. But it does seem to have been a recharge lap and a more engaged recharge lap for Lando Norris, who is bringing the fight once again to George Russell at the front of the field. Perez has had a fun run.
मेरे को लग रहा कोई तो ठुकने वाला है. फीलिंग आ रहा है मेरे को बहुत जोर का.
Give him a lot of pressure from the likes of Lawson, Bortoleto and Gasly behind. It's lap 17 of 23. George Russell needing this win. One lock-up, one wide moment away from Norris and Antonelli getting through. And there's Alex Albon in the path.
That's not kind. That's not kind. He will jump out of the way now, but Russell's been compromised into that chicane.
That's how he's doing. It's just a bit of road.
And Russell calm on the radio, but not calm with what he was seeing in front of him. And that gap now, there's under a second between the top 3. As we send Jolyon Palmer to meet the top 3. And we check in once again with Alex Brundle. Alex, it could be anything.
Chalo, let's go.
18 and 23.
It's going to be tough preparation, isn't it, for Jolyon Palmer? Who is he going to see down there when he eventually meets the top 3 in this Grand Prix? It's been a change of strategy for Norris over the radio. They tried something different to try and attack George Russell out of 10. All that did is reverse them towards Kimi Antonelli, and now he's in a Mercedes sandwich, unfortunately, at the front of the field.
Antonelli will be desperate to undo the damage of that moment across the grass at turn 8 that began. Oh, look, he's almost nudging Norris through the corner. Get on with it. Get to the front of the field. Antonelli will be desperate to try and undo the damage of those 2 contentious moments, and still they run in formation. What a treat this is.
You can see the difference in the strategy there. Norris taking off down the back straight. George Russell ringing it out to the outside wall, all on straight mode as they make their way through. And you can see the 3.1 second then gap to Lewis Hamilton, who has the attentions of Oscar Piastri picture in picture, half a second back on board with Kimi Antonelli as he hooks it up, points it straight and tries to look after a medium compound tyre, which has done a fair amount of work now over the chicanes and through the traction zones.
Antonelli hoping for a lunge from Norris ahead to open the door, knowing it's not done yet. Norris just chasing wins. He's a long way back in the championship. Admittedly, it's only 50-odd points and not after the Dutch Grand Prix last year, so who knows what's going to happen in Formula 1. Guess you'll have to watch all of them with us. Great to have your company, no matter where you're watching this one from. On a magic weekend of motorsport, we are seeing a battle Separated 1.3 seconds for the top three, and he's almost over the grass. You can see the marks on the front right tyre. Antonelli looking for the tightest possible line. Adrenaline up, looking to recover that position at least.
Grass times 4 for Kimi Antonelli in this sprint race. That one was intentional over the inside curb. And he's got a little bit more pace, hasn't he?
मैक्स ने क्या किया?
Norris being kept out.
अरे भाई ये मत बोलो यार.
All of the teams confirming over the radio that overtake is really what you need if you're going to be moving forward in this race. Super powerful, and you can see how these three.
देखो अगर मैक्स ये किमी लास्ट के 2 लैप में अटैक करेगा.
Like he has a little bit more speed than Lando Norris, but that extra bit of energy from the overtake allowing Norris to defend his position. Are they going to be okay with taking some decent points home? Status quo. You've got to think that it's going to be a psychological battle as much as anything between George Russell and Kimi Antonelli.
There's a 10-second time penalty for Hulkenberg for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. He wasn't running in the.
पर मैक्स को 10 सेकंड का पेनल्टी भी मिला, तो भी वो 13 सेकंड आगे भाई. ठीक है, दे दो भाई, दे दो पेनल्टी दे दो.
Max Verstappen and a yellow flag infringement. That's at turn 2. That was about 3 minutes ago. For your reference, so a couple of laps ago, Gasly is coming in to change tyres just to get a bit of a read, and we've got 0.8 of a second between Russell and Norris, 0.6 of a second between Antonelli. That's our battle out front, confirmation of the 10-second penalty, so a battle for the top 3, and it's very, very close between Hamilton and Oscar Piastri as we go to the final chicane. No way through for the McLaren driver.
Be a way down the outside there. More traffic to deal with for the leading trio. It's Lance Stroll who gets out of the way nice and neatly as they make their way through turn 2. The battle we've just been watching screams into the apex of 2, and it is indeed Piastri who looks like he's got a bit more front end and then a little bit more traction through the mid corner of the second turn than Lewis Hamilton.
Kimi कर ले भाई कुछ. Oh.
Not had much of a margin throughout here. Hamilton reporting that he hit the wall of champions. So many dramatic moments through the years. George Russell has led 20 laps, but can he lead the crucial one, which is that 23 of this entertaining sprint race? Let's have a look at Lewis Hamilton. We're on board. Final corners of the racetrack, through the chicane, and a brush of the wall, a little bit more than a brush of the wall, Alex.
It goes in slightly tight, recognises he needs to keep the speed up, otherwise he's going to be under pressure down towards turn 1, and as a result has to
चलो किमी भैया
track on the exit. Unfortunately, the Wall of Champions is in the way.
Yeah, there used to be a tyre barrier there. It is full concrete. There you go. Given that
no further investigation.
After Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher and Jacques Villeneuve all found.
Good job, Max. Good job.
No further investigation for Max Verstappen at the potential yellow flag infringement. And look at the left of your screen, now full frame for you. All over the back of the Ferrari. Can Piastri pick up another point in the World Championship?
Hamilton just went straight
Come on,
across the
come on, Nor. Come on, Kimi. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
As they made their way through there, so Hamilton will be struggling even more. Another big shimmy from the Ferrari as he makes his way through turn 6. He's not happy in there at the moment with the balance of that machine.
Chalo, Kimi.
Brundle with you in the commentary. I'm Alex Chase. We've got 2 laps to go of this one. One at the end of this one. Penultimate tour for George Russell. So much made of it. You can see how much Lando Norris is pushing. Slightly squirmy on the exit. Does that open the door for Kimi Antonelli, who will be desperate for a chance to improve up to second? Slight lock-up. Not even that for Lando Norris, and there's no way by unless you're super brave on the brakes, but the world champion felt the need to waft to the middle of the racetrack.
Forces the defence, and that's going to force a slow front straight. Can Antonelli do anything, though? It's such a tricky move to make around the outside.
Talking of the outside, Piastri's got past Hamilton. Antonelli going...
अरे यार ये Antonelli यार गंदा बच्चा यार.
And that will be the position retaken by Lando Norris. Norris in second, Antonelli in third.
गुस्सा दिला रहा है यार मेरे को यार ये.
Oscar Piastri gets up to 4th.
Nicely done by Piastri. Antonelli really had to commit there and just plain didn't have the grip around the outside. So it's status quo at the front. But
अरे यार.
And George Russell has checked out of town, having spent so much of this race with a car in his mirrors. And hearing the roar of a V6 turbocharged engine, Russell now has the biggest breather of the entire sprint race. Our first flashpoint between the 2 main contenders for the title. A sentence that was true last year with McLaren, a sentence that is true this year for Mercedes. But they are rising to applaud George Russell, who said the sprint pole was a minor part of the weekend. He will add 8 points to his tally in the World Championship, but crucially, he knows there is Grand Prix qualifying to come and 25 points available for Grand Prix victory. But when it comes to the sprint, the good times continue to roll for George Russell. Got his elbows out. George Russell wins his second sprint of the season and the first ever held at the Canadian Grand Prix. Second and Antonelli in third. It's very tight to the line and going through on that last lap was Charles Leclerc, who nearly got Piastri. He was 1/10 of a second away. Hamilton went from 4th on the penultimate tour to 6th by the end. Hamilton was in 6th. Verstappen was in 7th. And it is Arvid Lindblad who's going to come home for his second ever Formula One point-scoring finish. He will be P8, and he roars past our commentary box to confirm that single point. Good charging drive for Franco Colapinto, who's up 4 places, but crucially unrewarded by not making it to the top 8. Then it is Sainz, and then we get to Perez, who ran that soft tyre, and I imagine he's been looking more in the mirrors than he has been out of the front of the car, but that is going to be a great result for Cadillac if you take into account sprint races and Grand Prix. That's the highest they've ever finished. It is their 5th round in Formula One, and Sergio Perez takes a Cadillac to P11. They are improving with every single race that they run, and it was a race won by George Russell once again.
Nice work today. Good job.
Lando was quick there. Yeah, good job.
Well, he soaked up some pressure there, did George Russell. I checked on on his radio halfway through the sprint race, and I thought it was broken. There was nothing going on in his direction, confirming with the congratulations to the team that that was not the case. Silence and delivery out front for Russell, doing a lovely job.
Let's check a flag.
Yeah, if we need to race like this, then good to know.
Kimi, now it's the 4th time to talk about this. We talk about this internally and not on the radio, okay?
भड़का हुआ है मेरा लौंडा
for a win with his teammate for the first time, still angry at what transpired earlier in the sprint, and wisely the CEO and team principal, co-team owner Toto Wolff, coming on the radio and saying, let's hash this out in the debrief rather than to the benefit of everyone watching in the crowd and you watching at home.
I think you can add mentor and career steward to that, can't you, for Kimi Antonelli? Toto Wolff just weighing in. No stranger, of course, to having to deal with battling drivers. And that's exactly what they were doing. A flashpoint in the battle between these two. Over not a huge number of points, but it would have meant more in the eyes of the drivers than it did really on the scoreboard. George Russell pulls in victorious.
Perez has been given a 10-second time penalty for forcing a driver off the track, so that strong run to 11th is deleted, and he's down to 14th in the final classification. George Russell had 2 serious contenders trying to take this victory away, but it was a victory much talked about. He will hope to back it up in the Grand Prix as well. But it's Russell on the car, a winner once again in Formula One. 2 sprint victories in 2026 for him, and 8 points more in the World Championship tally, as we see the gap between the top 2 in the World Championship come down to 18 points after that result.
For the Grand Prix as well, in terms of action, the Mercedes didn't drive away from them, did they? Especially from McLaren at the front in a weekend where they've looked so quick in qualifying conditions. Everybody will have been watching that with interest. Yes, you end up with 2 Mercedes in the top 3, but they still had to battle for it. With the facilities available for overtaking to specifically Lando Norris. So Oscar Piastri doing the job, making his way past Lewis Hamilton behind.
Kimi Antonelli going through the admin of getting weighed. You get a little ticket. There you go. Highest technology sport in the world. You get a little ticket that's got your weight on.
It's all very
हाथ नहीं लगेगा इससे आराम
I think he looks like a butcher. Handshake between the 2 teammates, and they will talk about it with Jolyon Palmer in a few moments, and then the debrief as well. Lando and George having
गुस्सा नहीं मेरे बेटे, गुस्सा नहीं.
by less than a second for so much of the rest. You make the point, Alex, that it was very, very tight, reminiscent of what we saw in Miami, where after just one practice session, just listen in. I can't hear what they're saying, but I hope you could at home. And this
चलो विष्णु भाई, मैं जा रहा हूँ.
was very, very tight. Antonelli giving it
अरे
everything.
किधर जा रहा है?
Had a lot of faith to use that
अरे
part of the
फ्रेंड्स के साथ जा रहा हूँ, चाय पी के आता हूँ.
ओके ओके
11 तक आ जाऊंगा मैं.
चलेगा.
ठीक है. चलो, thank you so much guys. Bye bye. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow, or maybe tonight in the sprint quali. Sorry, in the main GP quali. Bye bye. Till there, take care. Have a good day.